I can't shake them. Okay. Wait for reinforcements!
Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars Toy Talk and live chat. I want to say it's been a minute since the last one, but we're getting more frequent, which is good. Welcome to what might possibly be our thickest, chunkiest, girthiest, most substantial stream we've ever done. We've got 3 events worth of Hasbro reveals to cover. So bear with us because we're going to try and get through them as quick as we can, but it might be a long one. So, Dan, James, hope you're in it for the long haul, guys, because I hope you've got no plans. How you doing,
that
guys?
Like I have things to do on a Saturday night. Friday night. Fuck me, travel to the future then.
I was literally just about to say, well, I assume we haven't got anything to do on a Saturday. That's why we scheduled it for Friday. But there we go. How are we doing? Are we all right?
Surviving, thriving, living it, loving it.
Yeah, good. It's all we can do in these weird times. I feel like we've gone back 5 years, but that's another conversation for an entirely different genre of live stream. But here we are. If you are feeling a little bit low for whatever reason, can't think why, we're here to cheer you all up with some stuff.
Sorry, lads, just trumped.
I see what you did there.
Oh!
I thought you actually had. I was like, oh, he's on his coffee again.
No.
No, good you're both doing well. And to everybody watching, I hope you are all well as well. We have got some guys in the chat. David Edge is back. Fellow Northerner has returned. Why does my agree I got half an hour ago have no neck? All these questions and more to be answered throughout tonight's stream. Collector Cove is joining us. Hello there, General Kenobi. Jake is with us as well. Hello, Jake. How you doing, my friend? David, girthiest. Absolutely. It's all about the girth on this stream, my friend. And Sea Lion is here as well. Ah, Dan said the line.
I did it. I did the thing.
So there we go. Right, so let's waste no time. Let's dive in and talk about, as we always do with these streams, latest purchases, what's new in the world of Star Wars for you guys. We'll go around because you guys have turned the tables on me a little bit, and you've not brought much to the table this week, whereas I've got quite the pile. So, James, the floor is yours, mate. Take it away.
Okay, so I have had Hot Toys Chopper and Hot Toys Darth Sidious. But if you want to see them, you're going to have to go over to my Instagram because I didn't plan ahead enough. They're already on the shelf and they're already behind glass. So me being the pedantic arsehole that I am, that's where they're going to stay. But then I did get one thing out, which is this lovely Vale's Toy Store Phase 1 Captain Rex.
That is tasty.
It's so fucking cool.
And
long overdue.
Shout out to Collector Curve in the chat as well, because he sent me some really cool pictures of this figure, which I promised him I'd share on screen during the stream so we could talk about this guy in a little bit more detail. But again, I didn't plan ahead either, and I'm pressed for time tonight, so I didn't get around to doing it. But there we go, in all his glory. He's looking very cool. I must admit, I'm still yet to jump on the Vale's Toy Store bandwagon, but I think I might need to do it with that one because that is a pretty cool looking figure. So.
Oh yeah, have to do it, man.
Do it.
And there you go, as Sea Lion says as well.
It's considerably cheaper if you have not used AliExpress before. I think it only costs about 16 quid if you've got like an entry offer. So
nice. Is that including postage as well?
That is the extent of my knowledge on that topic.
He didn't pay that much attention to his basket when he checked out.
Nah.
What about you, Dan? What's new in your collection, bud?
Oh, what's new? That's a good question. I did get the Obi-Wan, Maul, and Qui-Gon 3-pack. I'm probably going to do a review on it. Don't have it in hand because it's downstairs. Not going to rush downstairs. But what I do have is this, which I have reviewed actually. If you want to check it out on my channel, it's the Micro Galaxy Squadrons, The Ghost. And this thing is, if you missed out on the opportunity to get the Hasbro one, this is a very nice alternative.
That is beautiful.
But you can
and
see
it comes with a flight stand.
Oh, it comes with a flight stand as well. It's a little tiny flight stand. And it has sounds and lights, and it's just really cool. I got the special Amazon exclusive version, which comes with some Y-wings. It's pretty damn cool. Like I said, reviews on my channel, you can check that out. I've also gone back down the rabbit hole of cards, because it's new card day, if you didn't know. Star Wars Unlimited. Oh boy. So I've got a big box of cards that I will be doing an unboxing of at some point, probably soon, tonight maybe, because I'm really eager. This set I've been so hyped for because it's all based around the Clone Wars.
Nice.
This is the Twilight of Republic set. This is probably... I've already opened up some of the cards, because naturally me being me. But... oh, they're lovely. You got Echo there. I've had some really good pulls so far. I'm trying to complete a full set. That's always fun. Particularly trying to find legendaries. But
that's a bit up your street and all, isn't it, James? Because being
yeah.
the Clone Wars fan that you are, mate, I think that's something that tickles your fancy as well.
It's something that me and Laura very much plan to pick up tomorrow, with how our Forbidden Planet actually did their job and fucking got some, which they did not.
yeah.
Nice.
I think we managed to get one of those pre-release boxes, but that's with Laura, so we'll open that soon. I'll let you know if I get anything interesting down.
Yeah, I picked up a pre-release box as well, and they're a good little introductory way to get into it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice one. Happy days. Well, speaking of cards, just as I can't share anything just yet, but just keep your eyes peeled. Watch this space for Star action figures. Obviously, they've done a few bits and pieces with art cards and things like that in the past, and there's some stuff on the horizon in that respect as well. So keep your eyes peeled to my socials and obviously the Star Action Figures website. There's an exclusive offer coming up very, very soon, which I learned the details of today, and I'm very, very excited about it. So I'll be sure to share that with you all in due course. We've got White Direwolf is here in the chat as well. How are we all doing? We are doing well. We've got a lot of toys to talk about, so we're all doing superbly well. Yeah, like I said, I'm usually a little bit late to the party when it comes to these streams, and normally time them really poorly. And I've never really picked anything up when we do these, but I've been on a bit of a trip this week.
You've been on your ollie bombs, haven't you?
I went somewhere and did some things, and so therefore my pickups for this week all follow one very, very similar theme.
Do you desire a place to get away? How about free? You truly belong here among the clouds on Bespin, the first stop on your Star Tours getaway package. Stay and play in the clouds and enjoy the spectacular Galaxy in the Skies fireworks pageant every single night. The fun continues on the forest moon of Endor, where you'll sleep under the stars with the lovable Ewoks in their charming tribal villages. Your third stop brings you to the peaceful world of Alderaan, where you can relax in a natural wonderland, recently voted safest planet in the galaxy by Hyperspace Traveler. This Star Tours getaway package is 3 times the fun in one, so ask your travel consultant to book yours today.
So yeah, I did a few things.
I've never fucking seen that. That older on one had me fucking howling, man.
It's good, isn't it? It's good. Man,
quality.
do you know what? I forgot, until I got there, I completely forgot how much I missed that little Star Tours jingle. The little diddly-doo. And I'm just like, like, I've only rode Star Tours. Well, I rode Star Tours for the first time in 2017, but man, am I so nostalgic for that clip now. Like, that sound and just the whole thing, I fucking love it. And as such, I had to commemorate the trip with a few more bits and pieces, because I have put together, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen it, but I have put together a bit of a Disney Parks themed shelf, and this was one of the main things that I wanted to pick up, because like a absolute wombat, I missed out on the D23 exclusive Star Speeder. I've never owned a 3 3/4 inch one, so this is the closest thing I've got, but it makes noises.
Oh, nice.
Yours is proud to produce the Star Speeder 1000.
And I'm just like, it's one of, do you know what? It's one of my favourite vehicles in the Star Wars universe. I just think it's mint. And I actually owned this years ago. I ordered it from Disney Store online when they got these in. And I remember it, I think it was 2018. They advertised them online, but they advertised it in the product listing as the 3 3/4 inch scale one. So I was like, I've got to have it. I need to own one. And then when it came, it was that. And I was like, well, that's a bit disappointing. So I ended up sending it back and getting a refund. And then, like, afterwards, I was like, why did I do that? I should have just kept it. So I'm glad to have got another one. Obviously, no trip to Disney, because it was Disneyland Paris that I went to. So no trip to Disneyland is complete without a trip to the Star Traders Boutique, where I picked up some Builder Droids, went to the Droid Factory. And I just want to spend a little bit of time to talk about one of the biggest downgrades in history, because when I went the first time, these are the type of droids that I picked up. When I went this year, they've changed. They've changed the packaging, and don't get me wrong, I'm all for plastic-free packaging. I'm all for the sentiment of saving the planet, but this was fucking disappointing. I really enjoyed naming my own droids when I went last time, and you don't have the opportunity to do that now. So yeah, that's what you're faced with when you go to the Disneyland Paris Droid Factory now. Luckily, I did go with the intent on picking up droids to open up and put on my shelf, so I did pick up 4. Put a few wacky and weird and wonderful combos together, such as this little dude with the Mickey ears. It's a bit of an R2-Q2, an R2-D2 sort of combo. Also got this little guy. They had updated the hats, which was a nice surprise, because there weren't that many to choose from when I went in 2017, so they got a few more this time around. So I got this little guy as well. Arriba! Finally got my hands on the sombrero. I love this droid design as well. I don't know where that's from. Is it from the sequels, or I forget where that one popped up, but glad to get one of those in the collection as well. And then I let my wife Cara put one together as well for the collection, and she went with this colourful Christmas dude who doesn't have a face. It's the weirdest little white dome I've ever seen. Not entirely sure what unit that is, but there we go. But yeah, I love the Droid Factory at Disneyland. I love the hats, regardless of what David says in the chat. But yeah, I just think they're so charming, they're so cute, they're so funny, and I just love adding to that collection. It's always fun. Did get a Hyperspace Mountain mug as well, but I'm not going to share that because it's just a mug. And then on the Hasbro front, I've been a busy boy again, because I picked up the Blurg, the Vintage Collection Blurg from Forbidden Planet. And again, funny story with this one. Picked this up, opened it up when I got home, and inside were 2 left arms. So this one had to be returned and swapped out, but luckily managed to get an exchange. The guys at Forbidden Planet were awesome and sorted that out for me, and I'm absolutely buzzing with this. It's a Vintage Collection purchase. Can you believe it?
It's the only good Vintage Collection item we'll see tonight, folks.
Oh, shots fired.
Ouch. But yeah, it's really cool. Like I'm all for creatures, be it Black Series or Vintage Collection. I think don't get me wrong, I think they work better in this collection, just for that size. But yeah, I'm buzzing with this. Can't wait to work that way. And then naturally, I had to pick up some Black Series stuff as well. So I went down the rabbit hole, some Ahsoka figures, got the Night Trooper and Captain Enoch finally, which I'm loving. I think Jesse picked these up on the stream we did last time around. He managed to get the Night Trooper in a really, really cool pose. I tried to replicate that a little bit, but I think it was as good as possible. And Enoch speaks for himself. So there we go. And finally, while I was at MCM Comic Con, did a little trip to Incan Toys, picked up the reissue of Valen Skull, the softwood blurb. I never picked up the first one, and I wasn't overly put off by the hype issue that a lot of people complained about. So it was just nice to get a collection, and it's a solid figure as well. Like, this is, in my opinion, with the exception of the Acolyte figures, probably one of Hasbro's best executions of soft goods.
Apologies to interrupt you, Steve, but you have a slight audio malfunction.
Oh no. Is that better?
Yeah.
That's actually just, as soon as you said that, it was like it didn't exist. It just made me out to be a right mug.
No, that's all right. I muted and unmuted my mic. I don't know what's going on. I hate it.
That's much better, mate.
It's probably because I started talking about vintage collection and the powers that be at Hasbro saw and thought, you're our Black Series spokesman, so let's have less of that, please.
Kill the airtime from you.
Absolutely. But yeah, don't know how much of that you caught, but yeah, with the exception of the Acolyte figures, this is, in my opinion, one of the best attempts at soft goods that Hasbro have done. The cloak is so well done, and I'm really, really happy to have this one in the collection as well. So yeah, it's been a pretty successful week of pickups for a change, because usually I don't really have much to share. So yeah, been a busy boy, and my wallet is also feeling the pain. So yeah, happy days, happy days. Right, let's not waste any further time on that. Let's jump into the reveals, because we all know that's what we've come to talk about. We'll do it in event order, because like I said, we do have 3 events worth, or is it, no, 4 events of reveals to cover, because there's been New York Comic Con, there's been MCM Comic Con in London, which again was very fortunate to be at for the Hasbro panel. So Hasbro, if you're watching, appreciate you. Thank you for that, the invitation. And we also have Luca, which is an event in Italy. I've never heard of it until Hasbro announced it. And then there's also the 1027 event as well. So tons of Black Series and vintage stuff to get through. Rather than breaking it up into Black Series and vintage collection, we'll do it event by event. So to start us off, we'll go into New York Comic Con, and we'll kick things off with the reveal of the Skeleton Crew, the official reveals of the Skeleton Crew. And I think we'll start with the strongest first, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm a bit unsure about the whole Skeleton Crew vibe at the minute. But that, we'll see how that turns out. But this is the first figure that we're going to talk about from the Skeleton Crew. In the Black Series, this is Pirate Captain Brutus, a Wolfman pirate. Lads, what are you feeling? I'm feeling this one. I like the vibe.
This is probably the one that I'm definitely going to get. Easily. I think the sculpt, the just overall look of him is just badass. And I need him on my shelf. Maybe if he isn't even going to appear in a Skeleton Crew display. So I think I'm the same as you, Steve. I'm a bit on the fence. I'm looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't know if I want to fork out 20, 22 quid, 25 quid on little tiny kiddie figgies. We'll see. This one though, I'll happily buy because of the sculpt, the detail. He looks badass.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Dan. I mean, like David's just said as well, like even if you're not planning on putting this one into a Skeleton Crew display on your shelf, it's a generic enough alien that could fit in pretty much anywhere in your collection, be it, you know, in the cantina like David suggests, or, you know, if you've got a Galaxy's Edge display going on, this guy could look pretty cool in the background of that, you know. A Criminal Underworld bounty hunter sort of display. It's just like I said, a multifaceted and covers a multitude of sins type of figure, in the sense that it's just an alien that looks fucking cool. So I'm all for this. I'm absolutely buzzing. James, what about you, mate? Is this a buy?
Absolutely. I'm very excited for this show. That most recent trailer that we got me pretty hyped for it. I'm chomping at the bit to get my hands on this wave. But I think Hasbro have sort of screwed the pooch a little bit by making it one of those no pre-orders when they're on the shelf. They're on the shelf kind of deals.
Yeah,
well,
that's been a thing, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, funny you should mention that, because I actually spoke to one of the guys from Hasbro Global when I was at MCM, and he asked me how I felt about the pre-order situation when it comes to new media, because they said that with the Acolyte, obviously those figures went up for pre-order before the show aired, and reception, you know, say what you will about the show, however you feel about it is by the by, but the overall reception to those figures when they were first made available for pre-order wasn't that great. And so the chap that I spoke to from Hasbro Global said, you know, how do you factor that in? How does that sort of resonate with you? Do you pre-order things before you've made a connection to a character, or do you know, would you rather see figures on shelf at the same time as media is on TV? And I said it's a bit of a catch-22 really, because for me, the Acolyte figures in particular, they were the most, for the most part anyway, were instant buys because the figures looked cool. And I'm one of those collectors where if a character looks cool enough and the design is there and I want it on my shelf, I'll pick it up before I've seen the media.
Yeah.
But I do understand the sentiment of, you know, if you've not seen the show and you've not forged that connection with the character yet, are you going to be willing to pick up the figure when it's made available for pre-order before the show airs? So I appreciate it from both sides, but I think they're just trying something a little bit different with the pre-order situation with these figures. I might be completely wrong, but that is what the sentiment seems to be from what I've heard, is that they're going up for pre-order once the show is out to see how the show performs and how the collecting community reacts to the figures. So we'll see how it goes. But this figure,
it's understandable, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm sort of with Dan. I'm on the fence about the other figures from the wave. So we'll dive into the other Skeleton Crew members now. Starting off with Dustin. I mean, sorry. I mean, Wim.
That joke was on a fucking whim.
All the puns. It's Friday Night Live. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not drawn. Do you know what I mean?
I get it. It looks just like Little Boy Who Goes to School.
Yeah. I'm just.
I mean, with the exception of Neil, who looks to be the goodest boy in the galaxy right now, I know what you guys are sort of feeling, because they're almost just random toys when you're looking at pictures like this. I think what attracts me to it is I like the little team aspect. I think it's great that we're looking at a wave of figures from an upcoming show with this, and when you've got them all on your shelf, I'm sure it's going to look really cool.
That's one really good point. The fact that they have managed to release all of them, all the main characters, in a wave together. I love that.
Yeah.
It
makes sense as well. Like it feels like it's been for obviously vintage collection fans aren't going to feel the same about this. And do you know what? I totally sympathise in that respect. Like I totally understand the frustration about the whole finishing teams and finishing crews and all that sort of stuff. We on these streams we do jest and we do have a bit of banter about the vintage collection, but we're all fans of it at the end of the day. Like, you know, it is what it is. It's just a bit of fun. And I do empathise with vintage collection fans who are struggling at the minute to get these crews completed, with the exception of the Ghost crew, I think, obviously, with the HasLab coming out. But you look at Hunter from the Bad Batch, where's the rest of them in vintage collection?
100%.
To then see not only the Bad Batch get 2 outfit looks in the Black Series, but then see the entire skeleton crew get released in the Black Series, and you've got one figure again in the vintage line, which we'll touch on later on. I understand it. I do feel for him. I really do. And Collectico has made a really good point here, is that I feel like the kids could have been in 2-packs together. And that goes back to what you were saying, Dan, about dropping the full 25 quid on all these kids, because I'm still of that mind where I don't like picking up smaller figures at full price. It feels like I'm being conned. Be it an Ewok, be it a Jawa, whatever. I feel like when you're getting a smaller figure, you're getting the accessories here, but you get accessories with Mandalorians, you get backpacks with those. You know, there isn't enough here for me to warrant the full price of a Black Series figure. And I get that it's just the bog standard price, the flat price of the line. But for me, I'm not about to drop 25 quid on these kids. Do you know what I mean? It's just not happening.
I think it's, you know, in terms of the accessory selection and things like that, brilliant. But it's not enough to warrant that price tag for me. It's just way too much.
Yeah, I mean,
if they go on discount, absolutely. But
yeah,
I know what I'm like. I say it in this breath, and then when I see them on pegs, I'll buy them.
Yeah,
I'll await your Instagram story, Dan.
There we go. That's it.
I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the specifics of each of these figures, because obviously we've not seen the show yet, so we don't know anything about the characters really. All we can do is judge the figures and the images that we've seen so far. That was Wim. This is Fern. Again, for me, same sentiment applies. I'm just not. I'm excited for the show, I really am, but I'm finding myself more and more becoming one of those collectors where, I'm enjoying the show. Like years ago, it was, I love the show, so I've got to have the figures. Now, I'm willing to enjoy the show, but I'm all right for picking up the merch. Do you know what I mean? It's I like to think I'm maturing as a...
These aren't going anywhere. These aren't selling out. As nice as it would be to see something so successful, they'll be around for a while. So
that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, they're not. No one's going to be in a like you release this figure at the same time as you release. I don't know what's coming out in the near future. I can't think off the top of my head, but I don't know. You see this figure on shelf at the side of a Black Series Savage Opress when that comes out. Let's have a think which one you're going to pick up. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it? So, you know, that's and again, that's with no disrespect to the show. I'm not dicking on it. I'm not dicking on the characters. I'm sure it's going to be great, and I am looking forward to it. But I don't know. I'm just not
X-Men on the go.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm just not feeling the figures. There's just something about them for me that doesn't feel Star Wars. And I said this about new Disney media when it first started. I was like, I don't know whether it feels Star Wars enough, and I don't want to be that person.
I get that, and I think that's because of the trailer for me, which sets up this suburban life, which we haven't really seen in Star Wars. It's all like everyone's scrapping about, rather than being in this like middle class society. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's literally really that as well, isn't it? It's like you've got the detached houses, you've got the driveways for the speeders, and it's like, what the hell?
The Arthurian walking the dog.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know. I don't want to be that person. I
like this. I like that this is how you guys feel, because I feel completely different to that. I like this to be a bit of a testament to how people can have different opinions on the internet and still be great friends and not argue about it, because I can see the perspective that you guys have got, and I sort of turn it on its head and go, I quite like that it's so
different.
boring in a sense. It's a demonstration of boring life.
Yeah.
Because you're getting nobodies that aren't exactly going to become somebody, but just get wrapped up in adventure. I just kind of like that idea.
I've been really conflicted with it though, because in one mindset I'm like, well, hold on, there's this like big war going on, and that we've come out of the aftermath of a big war. Maybe there is like society can go on, or has it been going on all this time? They've been blissfully unaware about. That's the thing I'm going to be really interested about to see what the show does, to see if they actually sort of elaborate on that. Yeah. And I think that could be quite interesting. So I'm not dogging on the whole thing anyway.
No, that's it. I mean,
but it's just new. That's the thing. It's new and fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thematically, I think it's going to be really interesting because it is something that we've never seen. So I'm all for it, and I'm willing to give it a chance. It's just one of those things where, like, and again, I hate being that person, but that's the way I'm feeling about it at the minute. I've never felt like this about any Star Wars media, but I'm just like, I don't know whether it's Star Wars enough. I don't want to. I hate myself. I hate myself, but and I'm excited to watch it. I think for the most part, I'm just excited to see Jude Law in Star Wars because I love Jude Law.
Yeah,
I think he's brilliant, and I think he's going to absolutely smash the role. But yeah, we're digressing a little bit. We're going off on a little bit of a tangent. What do you think of the figure? What do you think of the figure? This is KB for those who don't know. But like James said, bit of an X-Men vibe going on.
Yeah.
Also
Cyclops never looked like this in the comic books.
No, it's a bit of a Cyclops meets Matt the radar technician, isn't it? But yeah, I think probably out of the crew, like, well, not the crew, but the group of kids that's coming out for Skeleton Crew, this is probably the most Star Wars in terms of its design, with the exception of Neil, who we'll come to in a bit. But this is the one that I probably like the most, or dislike the least, should I say? But again, I'm not going to be rushing out to buy this one in the store or pre-ordering it when it goes up. It is a case of just waiting to see what the show's like before.
I'm going to be curious to see what customizers do with these figures. Because I think there's a lot of potential there in terms of what customizers and 3D printers can like slap on these. So I'd be interested in that. As figures themselves, they look great. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
But they're just a little bit. I've got no connection just yet.
Yeah, and they're a bit. They suffer from a bit. As much as I love Andor, they do suffer from an action. Speaking purely from an action figures perspective, because I do absolutely love Andor. I think it's one of the best pieces of Star Wars media that Disney have put out since the buyout. But from a purely action figure perspective, they do suffer from Andor syndrome in the sense that the figures are a little bit generic.
Yeah, every day.
So I don't think there is going to be that rush for people to go out there and buy them. But that's my feelings on it, is that they just look a bit plain. They're a bit boring. They're a bit, as figures, they're brilliantly sculpted. They look really, really good. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on these figures just because we don't know enough about them yet. But just with the rest of them on the mind, when it comes to Neil, I got a look at this guy in hand at MCM Comic Con. He was part of the Hasbro booth setup, and I've got to say, in person, this figure, Neil, is sculpted so well. Yeah. Like, again, character design, I'm not smitten. It's a glup shitter, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But I love him. He's got little yellow shoes, man.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's another one of those where slap it in a cantina display and it's fine. But from an action figure perspective, from a detail point of view and a sculpt point of view, this one is done really, really well. I think one of the things that when you guys pick this up, because I'm assuming, James especially, this is going to be a wave that you just pre-order instantly when they go up.
Yeah, the funny thing relating to that sort of comment is, strangely, In Demand Toys put pre-orders up for them this week. They seem to have sold out, but I don't know if it's just because they've secured a small amount.
I
God
thought
knows
this,
what's going on with that.
I seem to think, did they put something on Facebook saying that they had to unlist them?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, this is the thing that's quite interesting about the pre-order situation with them, is that I don't think anyone knows what's really going on. But yeah.
All I know is I got my order in anyway, so
there we go.
never mind.
But what I was getting to is though that I think one of the things that you'll find when I know James is definitely getting these figures, so one of the things that you'll find when you get this one in hand is that the sculpt on it is so intricately done. Like, one of the things that really blew my mind about this one is that when you get really up close and personal with it, like the stitching in the fabric on his jumper and all the little details in his dungarees and even the texture of his skin is so beautifully sculpted. Like, I've got to give it credit where it's due. Like, I'm not taken by the other figures in this wave, with the exception of Brutus, but this figure is really, really well done. Like, I'm not overly keen on the design. I'm not chomping at the bit to pick this figure up, but I can appreciate a bloody good sculpt when I see one, and this one has it. Like, it's really, really good. So I'm really excited to hear what you guys think of it when you inevitably pick it up, because Dan, I assume this is one for you as well.
Oh yeah, this one's one. If this is the one that's going to set me down the path of getting them, this one's going to be it, because I love a glub shitto, and he looks so cute. I mean, he's just a little guy. This little guy lost in space.
He's just a little fella. He's happy to be here.
That's it.
He's just trying to find his way back home.
Yeah. I like him. I like this one. I think in terms of coloration, it just pops. It's so refreshing seeing like orange and blues and like that sort of red colour. The little yellow shoes. Come on.
or the Max Reeboks as collectors.
Max Reeboks. Yes.
Very good.
Excellent. But yeah, no, I must admit, I'm in the same camp as you, Dan. Like the colours and the design of the figure overall. Like, I'm not buzzing about it, but it's nice to have a little bit of splash on your shelf. I think that's the thing with the other figures, is that they're all brown and the beige and the a bit there. You know, this one's got a little bit more going for it. We wrap up the Skeleton Crew Black Series reveals from NYCC with the aforementioned Mr. Napkin Head. If you've seen The Holiday, then that's a deep cut reference for you, but there he is, Jude Law, immortalised in action figure glory. I'm quite happy with this one. I feel like a hypocrite because I've just said, the other figures they all wear brown and beige and they all look dull. This just looks like Cassian Andor with a Jude Law head, but I'm here for it. Like, I love the hood that he comes with. I think the head sculpt is really well done, and again, he fits the bill the same as the other figures do, in the sense that if you just want a generic background character, you just want filler for your shelf, this is gonna work in there pretty nicely. But I'm really excited to see his character. I think Jod, and I forget the name of the droid, but the droid that Nick Frost is going to play in the show. They're the two characters that I'm really excited to see. And then obviously all the pirates in the Skeleton Crew itself.
If we don't see Hondo in this show,
man,
perfect opportunity to get Hondo in live action.
Well,
then so God help me, Lucasfilm.
There's another character as well, I think, that we might see.
Go on.
I would like to see personally, and I've been thinking about it. I thought Hondo definitely won.
Yeah.
Maz Kanata.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Maz.
That's got to happen. She'd be the perfect fit for it.
Sidna Fano. Yeah.
Oh yes.
There's
please.
some little.
Yeah.
Oh.
Still kicking around with kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
living his best life.
That would be sick. That would be sick.
Yeah, we do need to see that. But feelings on the figure? Are you vibing with this one?
Yeah, I like the blasters. I think pirate sort of pistols lend themselves so nicely to the Star Wars galaxy.
Yeah, they do. What about you, Dan?
I'm curious this one because correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't he a Jedi? Is that the theory?
I don't
Sort
know.
of,
Oh
yeah.
well, yeah, because someone ask Jude Law in an interview about having the Force, and he says, "Oh, who says I've got the Force?" I'll be honest. I'm hoping that he's not. Just
Isn't there
because
something in the trailer about it? Don't you see him use the Force on something?
I'm going to be honest. I've not actually seen it yet. I've not watched it.
Oh, sorry, Steve.
I thought that was in the first trailer.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah. I seem to think in the first trailer uses there's kind of like a bit of a forcey vibe going on, which
So
makes
does
me
that-
curious.
So that means it's another Jedi that survived Order 66, and like I get like a very small percentage survived when you consider how many were populating the galaxy, but I'm just like, no, we've been there, we've done that. Let's not have another one, please. Like I'd much prefer. I got the feeling just from like the still images that we've seen, and just because of the type of roles that we've seen Jude Law play in the past, I had this guy down as sort of a DJ type character.
Yeah.
Like he's going to align with our heroes to begin with, and then it's going to turn out, oh, he was a pirate all along, And I don't know. That's just the feeling that I got around the character that he was going to be. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, if he is Jedi, well, cool.
The
I
only
guess.
reason why I sort of raise that is because what are we going to see this guy again, but included with a lightsaber, similar to what they did with Rey?
Yeah.
But like as a figure, it looks fine. It's more the selling point is really it's Jude Law, isn't it? Let's be fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I think it's pretty cool.
And I think if you're a vintage collection fan and a Jude Law fan, then you are really going to be living your best life, because not only do you have an action figure of him on the way, but you can also display his face in your collection as well, because there he is looking oh so very beautiful on that card back. I've got to say, I'm not I don't tend to dabble much in vintage collection these days, but when it comes to figures that I don't have a massive connection to, but I like the look of, I am finding myself more in the camp of, well, do you know what? I don't have the space in my Black Series collection for a 6-inch figure, but I want that character represented on my shelf, so I'll grab it in vintage. And this probably falls into that category. Like, if they do a special action figure set of the kids and Neil and all that sort of stuff, then I might be swayed. But Black Series, because they just take up so much room, maybe I'll leave it for now. But if we do see the full crew fleshed out, I'd be all for it in vintage collection. Absolutely.
I actually got to see this in hand this week because I ordered what will be the next sort of wave of vintage figures the UK gets, which is like Imperial Base Mando, Thrawn, Ahsoka, and he's double packed in this wave. I don't have it anymore. I sold on the figures I didn't want because I had to order the case, which brought the cost down, so I actually got them in cheaper in essence. The ones I wanted anyway. But I was like, do I go on eBay and just fucking cancel the order of this one? And it was very nice, but for me and the vintage stuff that I collect, I'm only sort of going to grab this guy or any other Skeleton Crew figures if they play into the bigger Mandoverse sort of side of things as time goes on.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's very good.
I mean,
the likeness was fucking mint.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. I mean, this is another one that I got to see it in person as well at MCM, and it is really, really good. Like, it's bob on. And I don't say that often about vintage collection, but they've got it down to a T. This one for me is if you put the two in front of me and say you've got to buy one of these figures, which one do you want? Do you want the Black Series or the vintage collection one? I'm going with TVC all day long. So, I'm turning to the dark side of the Force, but. It's cool, man. I like it, and I think that Skeleton Crew logo looks sick on a vintage card as well.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah. That looks really nice. Dan, what about you? I know you're not much of a 3/4 inch guy anymore.
3/4 inch. No, I'm. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm happy for those that are probably going to get it. Have the cake and eat it. It looks cool on a vintage card. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. Look, RC, the comments are coming already. Oh, I've done it now. I've done it now. But yeah,
Sorry,
that's.
I've just seen another comment. He's got Jen Erso's scarf.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, not far off. It's just the other way around, isn't it? Yeah, interesting. No, it's a cool looking design. I'm digging it. I'm really keen to see his character in the show, and how he plays into the broader picture. But yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. That wraps up the skeleton crew reveals that we got at NYCC. But we did get a couple more Black Series announcements. One of which I'm very excited for, because once again, having recently picked up, where the bloody hell's it gone? There it is. The Blurg, picking this up recently and being a bit of an advocate when it comes to creatures in Star Wars. Like, I'm all for this. Like, more of this, please, Hasbro. This is fantastic.
So long as you
Keep it
pack in
coming.
the right arms.
Just pack in the right arms. Yes,
And don't
please.
resell it.
Much appreciated. No, I'm going to be honest. If the next thing we're going to talk about is half as good as the vintage collection Blurg, which I'm just going to show off once again because it's just so cool. But if the next product that we're about to talk about is half as cool as this, then I'm all for it, and I want to see more in the line. But this is the Howler from Ahsoka, which I don't know about you guys, but I found this to be such a left field announcement. It was completely unexpected. I love the fact that we're doing away with pipeline reveals. I like to be surprised, and this was a massive shock to see this. And I fucking love it. I think it looks absolutely incredible. It's another product I got to see at MCM and in person. Oh man, like the way that this thing is articulated, the way it can sit, the figure it comes with. Chef's kiss, Hasbro. Chef's bloody kiss. It is absolutely awesome. Anything from Ahsoka is always a win in my book, because that is one of my favourite pieces of Star Wars media that's been put out under Disney. But yeah, as a toy, as a figure, as a pack, sign me up. This is awesome. What about you guys? How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, can't wait for this. It was one of those sort of children moments, if you like, when I saw this get revealed at the panel. Not that I was there, but through the internet, I just sort of wicked, it was like an audible gasp. I was like, no way. I think it's fantastic. I do sort of have a little bug to bear, though. I don't know if any of this was sort of spoken about at MCM amongst yourself and Mr. Bosk's Bounty Steve, but I believe that Sabine is coming packaged in this on a deluxe card.
Yep.
Despite not having, despite the accessories that she comes with, perfectly managing the space of a regular card, and the justification is the deco on the figure is what quantifies it being a deluxe, and if it came out separately it would have been, but the blasters and the lightsabers aren't fucking painted when the first ones were. Now I wouldn't mind, but Sabine's blasters are supposed to be coloured specific. And I mean, I wouldn't be too bothered about the lightsaber, but it just gives me sort of little fever dreams back to the old 5 POA stuff.
Yeah.
That's just me. I'm sure a lot of people won't give a crap, but I want my stuff to be accurate,
Yeah, I feel you. Overall, as a release, I'm absolutely psyched. I think the Howler looks incredible. Sabine, I'm so glad they fixed the helmet over the initial deluxe figure that they put out. Nothing was said specifically about the reasoning behind it being put on a deluxe card at MCM. I'm baffled personally that it was. That I think, do you know what? I understand it from a vintage collection collector's point of view, where you've got the inconsistency with the cards and all that sort of stuff. Like, I get that. For me, it's not an issue because vintage collection figures, for the most part, are openers anyway. And you know, a couple of missing paint apps here and there. You know, for this figure especially, like, the blasters are going to be in her holsters because she's going to be riding the howler, so it's not a deal breaker for me.
Oh,
What does frustrate me? You're all right there, Dan.
oh, we'll get to me in a minute. Sorry, Steve.
No, you're all right. I thought you were having a moment there.
I am having a moment now.
You better not be rubbing the Monday again. I swear to God.
Nah.
But I don't know. For me, like, the issue of the paint not being there isn't an issue. It's a non-issue. But if what you say is true, James, and the justification for the deluxe card is at the same time, it doesn't make sense for Deco to be the reason that this is out on a deluxe card, because for that reason, for it to be put out on a deluxe card and the Deco being the reason, that incurs a higher cost. Now, I'm assuming that this Beast pack is going to be the same as the Blurg. It's going to be the same as, you know, the Mando speeder bike, blah, blah, blah. So why does it matter whether it's on a deluxe card when it's a packing figure? Because you're paying the same price for it.
I did actually see an interview where Chris said those words, which is why I asked whether something might have been mentioned whilst you were there.
Well, he didn't. He might have mentioned. So. I know that James from Jedi News did an interview with Chris, and something might have been mentioned in that, but I didn't ask, and nothing was said. So
yeah, no, that's fine, mate.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but no, for my money, I'm not bothered. I'm not put off by the lack of paint on the blasters, but if the justification for Deco dictating price and all that sort of stuff is true, and then this sort of stuff happens, then that's not right. That's not on.
They tend to say that about Boba Fett as well. When that comes out on a deluxe card, don't they? They say, "Oh, it's the Deco, it's the paint, so that's where the money is." But hey ho,
I feel a bit like Thor. Is it though? But it is what it is. But do you know what? I'm loving it. It's such a cool release. I'm gonna put pretty good money, James, on the fact that you're grabbing 2 of these.
How did you know?
Because I've got a sneaky feeling that you're going to be putting another figure on the second one and recreating recreating a certain scene from Ahsoka. Because all the figures there, and you know what? That's one of the things that's so good about this is that this sort of stuff in vintage collection is perfect because it is that world building. It's that, you know, this thing in Black Series would be fucking huge. Oh. So again, from that space saving point of view, I'm thrilled to see it in vintage collection, and I would rather see stuff like this in vintage collection than Black Series anyway. So, what about you, Dan? Is this one for you? Because then, he's having a moment again. Look, he's off.
You know what? I had a bit of a weird thing with this. So initially I was a bit like, that's pretty cool. I like that. You know how I usually am with vintage collection. The more I see it, the more I'm like, but it's prettier. It's a prettier thing, and it conjoins to Thrawn. And I've got Enoch as well. So I need it's just like, you build it up. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I need it.
Yeah. I'm in that camp.
The notation, though, about the lack of paint apps is a little bit disappointing, because I was going to have Enoch as if he's handing her blasters and setting her off into the wild. That was my idea for display wise on my Thrawn shelf.
Dude, you've got the talent to make those paint apps happen, though.
Well, exactly. So, you know,
so there you go.
I could fix that.
That's it.
Fix it.
There you go.
Yeah, I haven't pre-ordered it yet. We'll see how we go.
Yeah.
To see what other Black Series and other bits come out. But this is one that I may have to get.
Yeah. definitely. Same here as well. I mean, one of the things that I've always said has been a bugbear of mine over recent years with the vintage collection is the cost, and the difference in cost between Black Series and vintage collection. For me, I think that the deluxe sort of creature assortment thing, I think they're perfectly priced. I've got to say that £35 for these creature figure sets is absolutely bang on. So yeah, I'm up for one of these. Sign me in. I mean,
it's nice to see creatures. I think creatures have been the thing we've been wanting for ages in both scales. This is lovely. So yeah,
it just adds something else to the display. That's one of the reasons why I grabbed the Blurg, is because I've got a little 3 3/4 inch Mando shelf going on, and it's all figures. There's not much else really setting it apart. Like, I've got other displays in my collection that have got, like, you know, Jabbers in it, and Rancors and Wampers and Tauntauns, and it's like, it's nice to have something now to go into that era as well. So yeah, I'm psyched. I'm really happy about that one coming out. Moving on, that wraps up New York. Oh no, it doesn't. I'm telling a lie, because there was one more figure really revealed at New York Comic Con, which I think I'm not personally that bothered about, because I am happy with the almost 20-year-old version that I still have in my collection. Just from a pure, you know, I'm all 3 3/4 inched out for the most part, but I think there's going to be a lot of people happy about this one, and understandably so, because it has been a long time coming for an update. But this is, of course, the snowtrooper from The Empire Strikes Back. Now, I'm not going to be grabbing this one because I have plenty of snowtroopers that I'm more than happy with. I like the tactic there, because if we've seen what we've seen from the Mandalorian trailer, you know,
it's almost inevitable that this will see a repack or slight redeco.
Well, it's not even that. It's just perfect timing, because, you know, you've satisfied two demographics with this release. You've got the Empire Strikes Back card with Imperial Stormtrooper, Hoth Battle Gear, or whatever it says, and that's appeasing the OG fans. That's the TVC collectors.
Yes.
Absolutely, you know, satisfied to a T. But then you've also got fans of new media, fans of The Mandalorian, who are going to watch that movie when it comes out, or season 4, or whatever the hell it is that's out next. They're going to see the snowtroopers in that show. Then they're going to see that the snowtrooper is available to buy, and they're going to buy it. And will
it be available to buy, though, Steve?
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
This sold out like mad.
Yeah, I know.
Rightfully so, but
yeah, absolutely. Again, credit where it's due. I mean, for all intents and purposes, from what I've seen of this thing in person, it is a scaled down Black Series figure. And you can just tell just from sort of the height on the helmet and the way the hands are sculpted and stuff like that. But one thing I'll say about this figure that trumps the Black Series version is the soft goods Kama, which is, again, another amazing example of soft goods done more than right when it comes to Hasbro figures. It's the right thickness, it's just the right material, and it looks phenomenal. As a snowtrooper figure, like I said, I'm happy with the ones that I've got, so I won't be picking this up just to spend my money elsewhere, but it is fantastic. It's a really, really, really good one.
It's no interest to me, though.
Nah, do you know what? It is what it is. It's another one of those examples.
Everyone's gonna have the cake with this one and eat it, and it does look lovely, just not for me.
Yeah, and like C Line said as well, this one's cool, but that original 2006 release is just perfection. And you know what? I'm right there with you. I mean, that figure by modern standards does have its flaws. But I'm quite nostalgic for that figure, because I remember picking it up on a VOTC card back in 2007 in Toys R Us and doing the whole Ultimate Galactic Hunt thing where you sent off for the George Lucas Stormtrooper disguise figure. And it was a fun time to be a collector. So I'm nostalgic for that figure for those reasons. But this is a great update, a much needed one. And yeah, I'm happy for everyone who's going to be grabbing this one. I know two people in particular. Bosk's Bounty's buzzing about this one, and Phil the Force as well. Shout out to Phil. is more than happy with this release as well. So yeah, I'm happy for you. If you're a TVC collector and you're picking this one up, then yeah, buzzing for you. What about you, James? Is this one for you?
Now, this is where my slightly autistic brain decides to play games, because we know that they're going to be in the Mando movie, but I can't buy this because it's on an Empire card, even though I open it, and there might be something different. You know, they might be remnant snowtroopers, and there might be a little bit of battle damage or yellowing or whatever it may be. So the reason I said that this might be inevitable repack is because they've marketed this one as a fan channel exclusive. So I'm wondering if they're just going to do like a generic wave drop where there'll be a Mando version, and with it being Mando, it'll be a more mainstream, so regular waves would suit. That's just me thinking. I might try and get one when they come out if I can, just in case. But if not, no worries.
I think the one thing for me about these is the fact that we've very rarely seen snowtroopers in anything else. Like, there's an air of mystery about snowtroopers in a lot of ways, because they've all, for so many years, they've almost felt sort of exclusive to Empire Strikes Back. Like, we've seen scout troopers in other media, we've seen stormtroopers in other media, but snowtroopers have never really, other than video games, they've never really popped up anywhere else. And so to see them in Mandalorian when that happens is just going to be such a treat. And then to see a snowtrooper released on a card back other than an Empire Strikes Back card is just going to feel, it's going to feel dirty, but in a good way.
It's certainly a testament to the old Jon Favreau playing with his toys in his backyard sort of ethos that we know him for. So exciting times, definitely.
Absolutely, I'm excited for it. It's a very, very cool looking figure. Kudos to Hasbro for their execution of this one. Moving on from New York Comic Con. Like I said, we've got 4 events worth of reveals to get through, so we're going to move on as swiftly as we can. This brings us to MCM Comic Con, which happened in London, not last week, but the week before. Again, like I said, I was very fortunate to be in attendance on behalf of Hasbro, to be at the panel as well, to actually reveal figures, which was so surreal. Like, talk about a bucket list, like, collecting moment. That was, to share that panel with Tim from Bosk's Bounty and Chris from the design team over at Hasbro Star Wars, like, that was a bit of a nerd out for me, I'm not going to lie, like, not to blow my own trumpet, but I was buzzing, and we got a really great crowd. The interaction was there. Like, there were a shout out as well to Zave, who came and gave me a shout, who saw me when I was on the Out of the Basement live stream a few weeks back. He came and had a chat, and he was live streaming over my shoulder as we were revealing the figures, and kudos to him, because what a trooper, man. Like, he was live streaming as we were revealing the figures, and we had the figures under the desk at the panel, and as we were taking them out one by one, you could see what the next one was going to be. And because he was live streaming, and he was like, oh shit, I don't want to show everybody what the next figure is, so he was like making sure he was panning away at the right times. Dude, if you're watching, you're an absolute star. You did it the right way. And like I said, the interaction and just the audible gasps when some of these figures were revealed was a sight to behold, because my God, are some of them long overdue. But keeping with the theme of the vintage collection and the reveals that we got at MCM, Tim handled the vintage collection reveals. I, of course, handled the Black Series, and the first reveal from the vintage collection we got was a bit of a underwhelming one, I'm not going to lie, but you know what, for those who missed out on it the first time, it's a good opportunity to pick it up again. It's Aura Singh, but it's a repack, but it's been released at an inflated price, and it's missing accessories the original one came with. Thoughts?
You know what? I would be happy for people who want this, but I can't, because I've got the original and it came with the lightsaber box, and
that's it.
That's what made this figure so awesome back in the day when it originally came out.
Mm-hmm.
I love the card back. I love how it looks on the card, but I just I'm not.
I just feel like it's such a not to badmouth or dick on anyone, but I just feel like it's such a shit move to release this one without the lightsaber box.
Or even
Like,
updating it. A simple update would have been better.
Well, I just don't understand the reasoning. If you're going to repack a figure or re-release a figure to give those collectors who missed out on the first one an opportunity to get it again, why not release it in full? Like, why not re-release it with everything that it came with? By today's standards, that figure probably warrants a deluxe release. I don't think it does, but that's probably the reasoning that they'd give. But I just feel like it's just a little bit cheap to do that.
100%.
Chris justified this one as being because it has the photo reel and all that sort of stuff. I get that, and don't get me wrong, like, face sculpt wise, from a, well, not from a sculpting perspective, but from a, obviously a photo reel and a paint apps perspective, yeah, it's a massive improvement. But the accessories do let this one down, and I understand as well the sentiments of those who are calling out for updated articulation, because this figure has still got swivel hips. There's no articulation in the ankles. It's very much like for collectors such as the three of us who just display these figures on shelf, and we're not, you know, the biggest collectors of vintage collection anymore anyway, then it's absolutely fine. If because you're just going to display this figure on a shelf. But for those of you out there that are into the articulation and love to see updates to these figures, I can understand the frustration. I really can. I really, really can. And it's not often I say that, because usually we're sat here going, ha ha, look at that, what you're getting there.
It's disappointing. It's disappointing, because if this was updated with like all the bells and whistles, give it the lightsaber box as well, I would have actually bought this, like, just to keep carded, because it looks great on card, but the fact that it's just not an update at all is just, well, it's mind-boggling.
It's an updated card image, if that counts for anything.
Does the original actually go for a premium on the secondary market? Is that what sort of fueled it, or?
Tim said it did, and it is apparently quite tricky to get a hold of. I didn't know that, to be honest, because I'm a bit out of the vintage collection loop. Unless it's sort of the first few waves of vintage collection from 2010, I'm not really sure about value and all that sort of stuff nowadays. So I'm taking Tim's word for it that this one does fetch a premium.
I was just thinking, they keep sorry lads, the tape's slipping. They keep re-releasing older vintage figures when they're. I know I don't collect the line, but I'm an observant gentleman, and there are so many others that are worth a fuck ton of money.
Yeah,
that people would love to see again, even though they are older style figures, like, let's say, Darth Malgus.
Yeah.
Surely people might like a new version, because Black Series got a new version. But how much does that bugger go for?
Yeah. Or Darth Malak.
Malak.
You know, get Malak out there to complement, because for my money, there's not that much wrong with the old Malak figure, so get him out to complement the new Revan. But one thing that I literally, just as you mentioned that about re-releasing older vintage collection figures, I just realised, just to wind the tape back a little bit, I've realised that we forgot a New York Comic Con reveal from the vintage collection. So I'm just gonna talk about it briefly, because it's a figure we've seen. We don't need to talk about it for too long. But we are getting a re-release of Dr. Everson as well.
Oh yeah.
Yep. That's a thing.
I feel like go on. What that laugh indicates strong feelings, Dan. Like, why?
Oh no, it's not strong feelings. It's just how we've sidetracked to this club shito.
Do you know what though? It's a re-release that makes sense.
Yeah. Because
of the whole return to Tatooine thing that's going on with the HasLab Cantina and all that sort of stuff. I can get behind it, because it is a figure that if you're getting that cantina, it's going to be essential.
Oh yeah.
This for me, I don't tend to get wound up when older vintage collection figures get re-released, because I think certain older figures hold up better than newer ones, at least in terms of stability. Like, I find, because they're trying to nail the whole proportion thing, and they're trying to get these figures as lifelike as they possibly can, stability and durability sometimes is sacrificed, and you get flimsier joints, you get thinner weapons, all that sort of stuff. This is from an era of Star Wars collecting for my money where figures were, indestructible and they were put together really, really well. So for me, I think this still holds up as well now as it did 12 years ago. I'm sure there's vintage collectors out there who will disagree and will want an updated version of this, and rightfully so. But for the purposes of just filling out that cantina, if you didn't already have this guy, you're gonna need him. So it's a perfectly sensible choice for me.
It's just enough articulation to have him what you need him to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Sculpt price as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the sculpt on this one personally. I mean, I'd even go as far as to say that the sculpt on this one is slightly better than the Black Series one, but maybe that's just because it doesn't reuse any parts. I don't know, but I do like this figure. I have it in my collection from its first release. I think it's perfect.
It's great.
Yeah, no need to go back and do it, but it's out there for those of you that want it. But just to circle back, coming back to London, and MCM, Aura Singh. This is another release that was apparently done for the purposes of the Return to Tatooine story. How that works into the whole HasLab Cantina when that's very Episode 4 centric is, I'm not quite sure, but it makes sense to a degree. I think it would have made more sense to re-release Ponda Baba, or at least announce that next, given that we've just had Dr. Everson, but that's by the by.
Do you know what, though? What's mad about this one, just thinking about it, this is technically its third release. Because you had it on the vintage card.
Yes!
The 3D glasses situation.
Yeah, correct.
Because for those of you who might not know, Episode 1 had a 3D release a few years back, and there was a big thing around Episode 1 and all the other films getting re-released in 3D, which eventually they didn't actually do. But Episode 1, you had a whole wave, and this was one of those in that wave. So this is technically its third release now.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Update it.
Good little bit of
Bloody
knowledge
hell.
there,
I would have bought it if it came with the fucking glasses as well.
Yes.
I would have, because I could take them on my next trip to Star Tours. But yeah,
I only wanted the glasses. I'd have thrown the figure in the bin.
They were Darth Maul branded as well.
Yeah, they were very cool. I miss those days,
it.
and it's funny, isn't it? Because back then we were like, what the fuck is this on the shelf? In the line on its arse, eh? And now we're like, they were fucking good, weren't they? Eh?
Good times.
Yeah. Oh, man. The golden era. Moving on from 12 years ago, we have another vintage collection release that was made at MCM for Ahsoka. It's, to be fair,
womp.
Do you know what? It's fair enough. In comparison to, I will be the first to admit, Vintage Collection was severely underserved in terms of reveals at MCM. But it made that those reveals. I felt bad for Tim, and he even sat there. He said, "I've got figure envy." I was like, "Yeah, you should." But do you know what? I can't get mad with this figure because it's a timely release, because we're getting the E-Wing.
Yeah.
A vehicle that for some reason doesn't come with a pilot but comes with a droid, but that's by the by. So this figure makes sense. I think the disappointment came from the fact that it's been heavily rumoured for a while that we were going to get a TVC Carson Teva figure. And I know a few people kind of got the hopes up because they thought that Chris was subliminally messaging with the X-Wing pilot outfit at Comic Con. And because I know Phil said to me, he was like, "We're getting Carson Teva. That's a giveaway." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, mate." Yeah, sure, Jan. But do you know what? I can't be mad. I'm sure vintage collectors can, but that's whatever. That is what it is. Makes sense as a release, and it's cool that we get. I think that, because I mentioned this to Tim as well, that at least this is the first New Republic pilot that we're getting, I believe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at least in terms of like, you know, moving, not counting the Resistance and Per Dameron and all that sort of stuff, but from this sort of era of Star Wars, this is the first pilot that we're getting from the Republic. So I think this is really cool. I love the color scheme. I like the outfit, that it's almost like you can see that transition from the X-Wing pilot uniforms of old and the Rebel Alliance outfits into the more Resistance type costumes that we see in the sequels. So this is cool, man. I like it. What are you guys thinking? James, are you grabbing this one? Because obviously this is
Ahsoka, yeah. So I am going to get this one because
are you getting the E-wing?
Yeah, I'm getting the E-wing. I'm only getting the E-wing for that fucking droid though. So if anybody wants an E-wing, let me know. Because I'm such a fucking sad act. Yeah, no, it's cool, man. I would have preferred the other pilot. I don't remember the character's name, but the one that actually had, you know, lines, I guess, a bit of interaction with Sabine.
Yeah.
And then they could, you know, if they release Sabine on that speeder bike, then happy days, because that's something they should be throwing out now as a companion piece for this and the E-wing.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
It looks great. What gets me sort of excited, not that they could reuse the part because of the character's size, but it's very, very similar to the flight suit that Zeb was wearing in The Mandalorian. So, you know, if the assets are there, crossing them fingers.
Yeah, I think that's an inevitable release, to be fair, mate. I think that's definitely coming. But no, I'm
special Mando,
yeah, absolutely. But no, I'm happy for. I think that was probably the main thing. I think a lot of people who had picked up the E-wing were probably wondering was, when are we getting a pilot for this thing? So it makes sense to announce it now and to get it out there in time for that vehicle coming out. So yeah, it's cool. I mean, I can't speak for the figure itself. I did get a look at it in hand at MCM, but I'm not much of a TVC expert these days. But I think Tim said there was reuse. Whereabouts that reuse comes into effect, I'm not entirely sure.
I think it's the upper arms.
Yeah, he did mention parts being recycled from one of the old X-Wing Lukes. But I forget which parts they are. But no, do you know what? It's a cool looking figure. It's one to get out there. Yeah, it's there.
Just like you said, I think both these releases, vintage collection wise, just did not hold a candle to what Black Series got.
No, this is the thing. I think this figure on its own merit stands up really, really well.
Yeah, for sure.
When you compare it to what Black Series collectors were treated to, and Collector Cove just put it beautifully there, that we ate top notch at MCM, and so we'll move into the Black Series, because we did only get 3, but they were very, very bloody good.
5-star dining.
And again, thank you to Hasbro and the teams over there for affording me the opportunity to exclusively reveal one of these through my social channels. I love doing stuff like that. So hopefully there's going to be many, many more of those on the horizon. But I got the opportunity to exclusively reveal Sebulba, which I've got to say, when I first saw this figure, I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. And then I saw the other 2, and I was like, oh, they're even cooler. But do you know what? Seeing this one in person, and there's a video up on my channel if you haven't already seen it, just giving a quick overview of each of the 3 reveals from MCM. This figure is a feat of action figure engineering. And I feel like a bit of a hypocrite saying this, because when we were talking about the Skeleton Crew figures, obviously I said I'm not a huge fan of paying the full RRP for smaller figures when it comes to Black Series. This one I will be paying for, because it is, 1, it's a glup shitter, 2, it's Sebulba, and 3, he stands up unaided so well. And I think just the way that they've done this figure and the way they've executed him is, I think Chris said there had been some proportional exceptions made in terms of the size of the feet, just to make sure that he could stand up on his own, because obviously he is, for obvious reasons, a little bit front heavy. And they've adjusted the size of the feet to accommodate those issues. this figure stands up beautifully and it looks fantastic. He comes with the little frog chicken. He comes with the little goggles. What a figure, man. I am absolutely over the moon with this. And I think like one of the things that has been sort of unanimous amongst Black Series collectors when it comes to feedback with this figure is that nothing is off limits now.
Yeah.
There is literally the glass ceiling of Black Series has been shattered because now they've done Sebulba. What else are they going to do? And it's just such... I'm buzzing about this, guys. What about you?
And Quadranaires.
Yes.
Come on.
Rats Tyrell. Let's have the lot.
The full pod racer lineup would be immense.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Collector Cove asks, how was the strip and search afterwards to make sure you didn't leave MCM with these? Well, it was thorough. I'll say that. It was very, very thorough. I ended up with having a Sebulba pulled out of places. Put it that way. But it was fine. It was fine. Dave, yeah, fire, mate. Absolutely. I'm buzzing about this one. Dan, you're a sucker for a glub shitter. You're a sucker for the prequels. You're getting this one, aren't you?
I am absolutely... I haven't got it pre-ordered yet, but you bet your sweet Bippy I will. Once funds have recuperated.
Yeah,
I think he is just wonderful. Like, look at the paint application. Look at the just how the purple transitions to the skin color. It's perfect. Perfection.
Yeah, it is. It really is. What about you, James? Are you getting this one?
Oh yeah,
I was just about to say. I was literally just about to say, if you're getting the Skeleton Crew, but you're not getting Sebulba, there's something going wrong there. But nah, it is honestly just such a cool figure. So cool to see in the line.
I was watching one of the latest Out of the Basement streams where they were discussing these reveals, and they had Landspeeder Luke on, and he said that he didn't know that we were allowed to ask for this.
Yeah,
and that's very much how it feels. You almost write off these characters because you think there's no fucking way we're ever going to get that. Don't waste your breath.
That's what I mean.
The door is fucking well and truly wide open now.
Yeah.
The only way that I thought we would get this would be just a static piece that would go with like Anakin, or as like a Hasbro Pulse exclusive with his pod racer. And again, that would be static. The fact that they did this articulated just blows my tiny mind.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's the thing, isn't it? I think it's just the overall execution of it. And the way that they've released it is just so surprising that it got its own basic figure release. Don't get me wrong, I don't see it flying off the shelves.
Nah.
But I think for the people that want it, they're going to snap this guy up in droves, and rightfully so, because it is just so fucking cool. And like Collector Curve says as well, absolutely.
Yes, please.
Yes.
I was just about to say.
Needs to happen. Jake says, is this the weirdest character they've ever made a Black Series figure of? I want to say yes, but then at the same time, I feel like we got a Joruus C'baoth, so no. We also got those fucking Christmas figures, mate, so no, it's not the weirdest.
Constable Zuvio.
Yeah, there you go.
Mate, I don't care what anyone says, that's a fucking great figure, that is.
It really is. It really is. But yeah, moving swiftly on throughout the reveals, my favourite of MCM. Oh my god. When I say that I was salivating when this figure was revealed. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Like, when we talk about action figure execution, I am as excited for this figure as I am for Savage Opress, for Prince Shizo. Hasbro have absolutely nailed this one. Soft goods, paint applications, and the face sculpt on this one is un-fucking believable. And I can't understate enough the amazing job that Hasbro have done with this one. The sculpt on the ornate detailings on the robes and stuff, like the Leku and the Montrolls, like everything.
Everything's perfect,
is
isn't it?
yeah, this is a figure that was, I'm pretty sure, going back to the very, very, very first stream that we did as a trio. We did the Clone Wars wish list when they announced the 20th anniversary celebration, and I can't remember who it was. It was one of us said, Shaq T, get Shaq T in the Black Series, and to actually see it come to fruition is just.
It's been a wait. It's been a wait, but it's been well worth the wait. 100%.
It's so bloody good. I mean, I'm not even going to waste time asking if you guys are picking this one up because I know the answer. I just, like I said,
gonna do the world's end of Shaq T's. I'm gonna buy one for every time we thought she'd died but didn't.
Yeah. Well, that's it. If you've got scene specific displays in your collection, you need one for Grievous, you need one for Anakin,
one for Starkiller.
That's it. You need to get one to cut the robes up to have Starkiller finishing her off. Yeah, it's hopefully. Yeah, well, not get yours.
Group Monday rub. Love that.
What I was about to say before you completely ruined it and tainted it, Dan, was hopefully this opens the door for a Force Unleashed version as well. But yeah, God, what a figure! What a figure! And again, it's one of those. It utilizes new parts, but it also taps into the reuse as well. But it's one of those where the reuse makes sense. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the legs are recycled from Admiral Holdo, or a Singh, Ayla Secura, figures of that ilk. But the boots are brand new, which is something I wish I'd touched on in the brief video that I did. I wish I'd touched on this because I noticed it when we revealed the figures, and that the boots are all brand new because they're laced. So they come up to just under the knee, but then there are lace details on the boot themselves. So that's really cool. I don't think we've seen that before. But yeah, it is just a phenomenal figure. I am so happy that this one got revealed and so happy that it's on the way. I can't wait to pick it up. Prequel Jedi are just... it's amazing. And speaking of which, we did round out the trio of MCM reveals with Luminara, which I think is, again, a really perfectly timed release, given that we've just got the Commander Gree and Yoda set out on the go.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, Commander Gree is Clone Wars specific, but that's by the by, or Clone Wars comic specific, should I say. But it fits the theme, you know. It all ties in with Kashyyyk and the 41st and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, again, another phenomenal figure. Not, for my money, not quite as good as Shaq T, but that's purely from an aesthetic point of view. As a figure, again, Hasbro have smashed it. It's so good.
Kind of feels a little bit like when we got Plo Koon and Kit Fisto.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people favoured Plo Koon over Kit Fisto and vice versa.
Yeah. I think
so. Everyone's happy here. I think
you're always going to do, yeah, exactly. But you're always going to do that with prequel Jedi. I feel.
Sure.
There's always going to, they're always going to release a couple where one is more favoured than the other. I mean, for example, Galactica have just mentioned Barriss Offee. Can't be too far behind now. Maybe even size 18. I want both of those figures, but size 18 is going to be the cooler one for me. So it's one of those. But
if you guys know where to look online, then Barriss is heavily rumored.
It makes sense, given her presence in recent media. It's got to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But no, an absolutely stellar trio of reveals at MCM. And again, I'm going to hammer the point home. I'm so grateful to Hasbro for allowing me to be a part of it, because it was so good to be able to reveal these figures in person. And like I said, the audible gasps when we pulled Shaq T and when we pulled Luminara, even Sebulba, to be fair, got a decent ovation. So it's just three consecutive bangers.
I've got to say, because I knew what time, or roughly what time, the reveals were happening, thanks to the power of the internet, and I was sat waiting for a lovely Mackie D's. I was very hungry, and then these figures got shown before my food came, so I didn't need the food at that point, so I was a very satisfied man.
Yeah, that's it. We're all eating well. As Black Series collectors, we are eating very very, very well. And as such, that, I mean, there was one circling back to NYCC again, because I forgot to touch on it before we dived into MCM. Obviously, we got the Revenge of the Sith Cody revealed at New York Comic Con, which we briefly touched on in the last stream we did. So I'm not going to bother going into it again now. But yeah, prequel fans, Black Series collectors, yeah, we're not eating at Mackie D's. We're eating at like the most 5-star gourmet restaurant that there is. You know, it's a good time to be a fan. If you're a Black Series collector. So yeah, absolutely stoked. Moving on from MCM and the reveals that we got in London, we move on to Hasbro's, I believe, online event, which was Hasbro Pulse 1027. I didn't know that this was happening until oops, what am I doing? I've lost. Hang on. What am I doing? Please stand by. We are having technical difficulties. There we go. I didn't know that 1027 was happening until it actually happened. But I think it's safe to say, given the factory leaks, and if you're a viewer of Out of the Basement and all those Black Series channels of that ilk, we all knew that this guy was coming. But to see it finished, I just want to take a moment and just...
Oh. Yep.
It was a spooky ghost.
Ectoplasm. I don't have words.
Perfect.
Fucking sexy bastard.
I think those are the words. Guys. Oh.
We won.
We won.
Shit a brick. Look at him. I can't even begin. Like, I just can't begin to describe how happy this makes me feel.
He's perfect.
Like, in terms of eating, like that's a whopper.
That's yeah. I genuinely thought that if they were ever going to do Savage Opress, they were going to reuse bits from that Night Brother.
Mm. Yeah, right.
I'm
there with
so
you.
glad they didn't. I'm so glad they just, head to toe, all new.
Absolutely nailed it, haven't they?
Yeah.
Going the extra mile with the Force Pike.
Oh yeah.
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 Yes.
My God. Like, I love it. I think this might be... I mean, I had Shaq T down as a top contender for Figure of the Year 2025. I honestly can't say the same now that I've seen this.
But what else have we got? What's in store for us next year? If this is
what
what
I
we've
mean.
been given.
If this is the caliber of releases that we're getting in 2025 and beyond, like, you know, just put the bib on, like get the spread out, give me a knife and fork, because I'm ready to be wined and dined, man. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this is unbelievable. Like, and again, like everything about it, sculpt, accessories, like you guys said, the Force Pike is such an awesome addition. I'm so happy with this release, man. I can't stress enough how cool this is.
There's just one small thing that would have put the cherry on the cake for this. James, you might be able to correct me here, but he has a robot arm in a later season, doesn't he? He gets like a droid arm.
Yeah.
That would have been nice to have seen, but I can
Yeah.
forgive that because
I don't think they did that because he loses 2 horns as well in the same fight. So
there we go.
you know, I think all is definitely forgiven, but I wouldn't put it past them to throw another version out if this sells very well.
100%.
Yeah.
And yeah, if they did do another version on that point, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
I'd lap it up.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those as well. Like, it feels like a deep cut release, even though it's not, because he's such a popular character. But like Sebulba, it's one of those figures where you just feel like nothing is off the table, nothing's out of bounds now, because characters like this are coming out. Like you said, Black Series at one point, Vintage Collection was always the line for glup shitters and background characters and figures that you never thought you'd see made. It was always 3 3/4 inch, and Black Series was for the most part your core characters and stuff like that. So to see this, and again, not at the disparagement of Vintage Collection fans, because I understand the frustration on their part for not getting characters like this. Hopefully one day, maybe it's coming, who knows. But we thought in the Black Series community that we were always going to be playing second fiddle when it came to I'm not calling Savage a background character, but figures like this, the lesser known, less mainstream characters. But to get this, and to get Prince Shizor, and to get like Shakti and the previously released Joruus C'baoth, it just doesn't feel like those obscure characters are out of bounds anymore, and I'm here for it.
Pinch me, wake me up. I must be dreaming, because incredible.
The only other thing I would have liked to see with him is the little talisman that he's given to track them all down with. But I'm sure there are plenty of talented 3D printing people out there that can sort that one out for us. But if we're getting big figures like this, as you say, Steve, that are, the sort of shadows of the characters, if you will. Once upon a time, nobody knew who this guy was. And if we've got something like this, a chunky boy, a large boy, Ponkrell, when?
Yes, yeah.
Come on.
Prongcat, yeah. Prongcat.
I think that's a pretty... I
Thumb in my pants.
Do you know what? But this raises a really interesting thing, because if we take a look at what Marvel Legends have been doing...
Let's keep it PG, James. Come on now.
We're far beyond that, Steve.
If you see what they're doing with Marvel Legends and the bigger figures, and they're putting on, like... Is it like exclusive pre-orders, or like a limited amount being made?
Yeah, they only make however many get pre-ordered, and then the pre-order lasts for a month, I think.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, but that's something I thought would be interesting if they did go down that route with Star Wars.
Yeah, well, that's what they did in the Vintage Collection with the Sabine and Chopper 2-pack that goes with the Ghost.
Yeah. Could work. I know that the guys at Out of the Basement put a poll out recently asking about if they something along the lines of if they put out more limited figures, such as like the larger figures, would you pay that little bit more for them just to get them out into the line? And it's like, you know what, if they did it as a special line, then of course I would. But like I said, I just don't feel like anything's out of the realm of possibility anymore. I feel like any character and I think it's Collector Cove or Galaxy Wide Trader who mentioned in the chat that it feels like Hasbro are listening that little bit more now. And I definitely get that feeling from meeting them face to face, like having those conversations with the team. Like I feel like they're more open to, they want to hear what we want, and they want to hear what it is that we want to see in this line. And I think there's some I think we're in for a good treat over the next couple of years. I think 2025 into 2026, it's going to be we're going to be entering that golden era again, boys. I really do believe that. I think we definitely are.
Gone are the days of Ewok Village Leia.
So I mean, as good as figures like that are, but this is the sort of stuff we want. This is the sort of stuff we want. I'm sorry, Collector Cove. I didn't mean to. I hope you've got enough. Somebody fetch him a towel. But like Dave says as well, Hammerhead Jedi, get Raw on Core.
Please.
Let's have it. if I'm not mistaken, I may have got the events mixed up, but I'm pretty sure we got 2 vintage collection reveals at 1027. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I may have just got the wrong ones up on screen.
We did, yes, we did.
Yes.
You're right.
So the first one, we'll save the best till last. But if you're in the market for more Acolyte figures, then the Jedi lineup from the Acolyte seems to be getting, closer to being finished in the vintage collection. We're getting Yord Fandar. I'm happy for vintage collection fans who want this. I already have it in Black Series. I won't be picking it up in 3 3/4 inch. I've had my Yord fix. I've had my Acolyte fix. So this is fine. But it is just fine. I can't say anything else. And that's not me being dicking on the Acolyte. Controversial opinion. I loved it. I really enjoyed the show. I think the 3 of us did. Yep. But it's a figure that, for all intents and purposes, we have already seen. It is essentially a downscaled Black Series figure. Yep. So to get it revealed 3-4 months after the Acolyte figure from the Black Series was released, it just feels a little bit like old news, if that makes sense. But again, like I said, if you are a 3 3/4 inch collector exclusively, then this will probably make you happy in the sense that you're one step closer to rounding out that team. So happy for you in that respect. Moving on, because I'm guessing that this is not of interest to you two.
Oh, it's interesting. It's just we've had good dinners. Sorry, we've had good dinners from Black Series.
That's it, isn't it? I mean, I must admit, though, that being said, this TVC reveal, I really like, because the Black Series figure was so good, and I'm such a fan of that. I want this in my collection too. This is Jedi Legend Obi-Wan from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and it looks fantastic. I've got the Showdown and Duel's End vintage collection figures in my collection, and if this figure is anything like the Showdown Obi-Wan, then we're in for a treat, because that figure's fantastic. I haven't opened it yet. It's in an acrylic case on its pristine vintage card, because I do that. I do still do that. But I love this costume. I really, really love this look for Obi-Wan. I think it's class. And I'm happy to see it in the vintage collection. I hope this means we're going to get more figures from this show, because I'd love to see a Spirit of Obi-Wan. I'd love to see Tala. I'd love to see Ned in the vintage collection. So, yeah, bring it on. And this is a great release. It's a throwback in a lot of ways. It just reminds me of a Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan, and I'm here for it. I really like it.
I think for some people as well, a company, if you're inclined to, display it with that exclusive Black Chrysanthemum, because wasn't there a comic run? You could have it with that. I think that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah,
maybe.
I always like that idea more than it actually being a Kenobi figure, to be honest, for how few there is from that show.
Yeah. Just an idea. If Hasbro wanted to re-release it on a bring comic packs back, please.
There you go. It got there in the end. I would love to see comic packs make a return. I really would. Like, they were one of my favourite lines to collect back in the day. I loved comic packs so much.
Well, maybe we should do a stream on it at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's a shout. What a shout.
Yeah.
That's happening.
Yeah.
That's happening. Put that one in your calendars, folks, because the next stream will be comic packs wish list.
Oh.
Yeah, that could be juicy. But no, I like this figure. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it. I think it's going to be a great figure once it comes out. Really excited for it. That was all we got from 1027, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And that brings us to, I don't know that was it Luca? It was some sort of Comic Con or event in Italy, which Hasbro had a presence at, and they had one. Was it just one reveal?
Yep.
That's all right then. I've done my preparation well. We did get another vintage collection reveal at Luca. Gotta say, I like it. I don't know why. I for some reason thought we already had this figure in that Ahsoka and the droids Clone Wars pack. I don't know why I thought that Chopper was in it, because that wouldn't have made sense. But I thought it was. But I thought it was already out. I thought we'd already seen it, and I don't know why. But so when I found out that this was revealed, I was like, didn't we already get that? And I was like, maybe, obviously not.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's cool. It's a variation on a character. I don't think it was one that anybody was necessarily crying out for. But again,
I'll take it though.
Yeah, do you know what? I will as well, because it's another droid. That original vintage collection Chopper was absolutely banging, and it's another timely release with the Ghost coming out.
Absolutely.
It's one of those. It's like when the Razor Crest came and we had all the Mandalorian figures being released. It's one of those figures that makes sense given what's coming out at the same time. So I'm here for it. I'm happy with it. It's a cool figure.
It's a little bit left field as well, because it's like I wouldn't expect Hasbro to do this. I was actually planning to do a Black Series custom of this one, because I did see a cheap one, but then I saw a boy a game and I couldn't get it. And I was very mad about it. But we see this. Now we see this, and it's like, oh, could we get this in Black Series as well? That'd be easy to do. Come on, Hasbro, you can do it. You can do it. But no, I'm vintage collection collectors. You're eating good with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice little company piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to see more Rebels figures as well. From what I'm hearing, there are going to be a good couple more coming. So.
Good. I hope so.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's drastically just underserviced in all walks of life.
Yeah.
If this is anything to go by, it's like, let's play it safe with a smart repaint. I think what would be really cool to go with this is if they kit bashed a Stormtrooper Kanan.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I'd love to see that.
Stormtrooper Kanan.
Yeah, Old Man Rex,
AP.
Callus.
Oh yeah.
AP
would
be so easy to do.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say AP7. AP4. Is it AP7? AP4?
AP.
5. Oh, I was nearly there.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I was never any good at maths, but yeah, that
with blue butterfly accessories.
Oh god, yes. Bring it.
Display
Weird.
like translucent display stand, so you can have him like floating in space.
Oh god, bring it on! Absolutely. I mean, like we've said it before on these streams. Weird Star Wars is the best Star Wars, and it don't come much weirder than AP5 floating through space singing. Like what I thought I was tripping when I watched that episode for the first time. I really did.
I fucking love it. At the end, no, go away.
Mate, oh god, yeah. There's some untapped potential there for Rebels in the vintage collection. I'm just taking a look at the figures that I've got in my 5POA collection and just thinking of all the ones I'd love to see, like Vizago. Get Vizago into the vintage line.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Ketsu Onyo.
Yeah. 100%.
How we didn't get a figure of her.
Yeah. What else? Old Master Maul. Who else? Yeah, like we said, Agent Callus.
The Inquisitors.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. There's some room there.
If we're getting creatures, there are certain kind of wolf that we could, maybe see.
Bendu! Get Bendu in there!
Jesus! Bendu would be
now
a big
that
one,
is
wouldn't it?
perfect for one of those big limited items.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Can you imagine? That would be so cool. That'd be so cool.
The Mundy's going to be getting fucking sore at this rate, boy.
I would, 100%.
Yeah. Bendu. What else? Bloody hell, Governor Price. Like
Puffer Pig.
Oh yeah, man. Love Governor Price.
I think we also need to do a Rebels wish list.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Chance and Doula.
Yeah, boy, absolutely. Oh god, there's some figures we could get. Yeah, let's just have it all. That'd be a good one to fill the void, because I don't know whether we're getting, and I have it on good word that these aren't all of the reveals for the rest of the year, but I'm guessing that with like obviously Christmas coming up now and all that sort of stuff, we're probably not going to be getting that much in the way of reveals over the next couple of months.
They're doing one of those fancy things, aren't they? What's it called?
Like the fan streams.
Oh, like
Is it
Monday,
like
Monday and things.
Summit for the Galaxy, isn't it?
Yeah, they're doing
for the Galaxy, something like that.
That's less of a Hasbro exclusive thing, though, isn't it? That sort of covers all.
Yeah, we could see a few things, though, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. But I think in terms of like consecutive one after the other reveals from Hasbro, I think that's probably going to be quietening down over the next couple of months. So with that said, it does make sense to fill the void. So when it comes to these streams, we did the Gaming Greats wish list last time around with the Forces with Jesse, and so when it comes to the next one, we'll get to work on another wish list, be it comic packs, be it Rebels. We have talked about doing a saga wish list at some point, which, if rumours are anything to go by, may expand to episodes 10, 11, and 12. Might be worth saving that one for a few years down the line. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, it's definitely some really cool conversations to be had. Like I said, with the Black Series reveals that we've had recently, nothing is off the table. There's some excellent stuff coming in the line. I'm here for it. Bring it on. Let's have it. I can't wait. Favorite reveal from the past 3 weeks, guys. Let's wrap it up on that note. Which one's really tickled your pickle and making you rub the Monday vigorously?
That's actually a difficult question for one.
It is, isn't it? I can't
because
answer
they're
it.
all so fucking good, and my answer probably isn't one that people would be expecting either. Because Black Series is all well and good, but I think Sabine with the Howler is what I was most excited for because I just didn't expect it.
Yeah. Do you know what? I have to agree with you. I mean, if I had to pick Vintage Collection or Black Series, a Vintage Collection favorite reveal or a Black Series favorite reveal, for the Vintage line, the Howler all day long. For the Black Series, I really can't pick because there's been some absolute bangers and they're all gonna have their own merits. Savage is obviously right up there. Like, I can't wait till he comes out. Shakti speaks for herself. Excellent figure. But I'm really excited about the Revenge of the Sith Cody. I can't wait for that figure to come out. I can't wait to get a carded sample of that into the collection and just be reminded of that nostalgia that I had for that line. And the quality of the figure itself is excellent as well. So yeah, it's just some excellent stuff coming out.
It's the best time to be a Black Series collector.
Truly, really is. What about you, Dan? Favorite reveal?
Oh, I'm with you guys. I think I can't pick a Black Series one, but Vintage Collection, that Howler. Oh, yes. I'll be rubbing the Monday.
Closest we'll probably get to a Loth Wolf as well, which was what I was alluding to.
Do you know what, though? I mean, we said it with Sebulba for Black Series that it now means nothing's off the table. Doing a Howler, I don't think anything's out of the realm of possibility for Vintage Collection either. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a Loth Wolf, especially with the Ghost and the sort of resurgence of Rebel stuff we're getting.
I do hope so.
I think it'd make a lot of sense to do a Loth Wolf and a more Rebel-specific Ezra. Perhaps in his season, like I'm guessing, maybe we won't, but like in more of his season 1 outfit.
Yeah, that's what I really want to see.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's on the way, and it'd be really cool to see.
It does feel like, now I know the Ghost is predominantly marketed as an Ahsoka item, but it does feel like we're not getting that many supporting figures for it compared to what's come with the Razor Crest and what we're already seeing for the Cantina. So, it is a bit unfortunate. I suppose a lot of them do require new parts and budgets and all this bollocks that we have to unfortunately submit to, but more Rebels figures would be fucking mint. Come on.
Yeah. I think that we'll have to get that one locked in and get our Rebels wish list put together.
Yeah.
Next time, maybe we'll even shake it up. Maybe we'll talk about vintage collection for a change and talk about the beasts and the creatures and the larger scale stuff that we want to see in the 3 3/4 inch line. Let's turn the tide a little bit. Let's shake it up. But no, like I said, great stuff coming out over the course of the next few months and into the next year. Guys, it has been a pleasure to spend an evening with you once again. Thank you for joining me. Have you guys got anything that you would like to plug before we wrap things up? Dan, I know that you've always got content on the way, but James, I know that you're working on or mentioned potentially working on a little video.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I put some videos together over the last few months, which, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm immensely proud of. I'll be honest, I capitalised on the hype of getting new things early because
Got to be done, mate. Think
logistics
about
and
the
all that.
content.
Yeah.
That's
But
it.
I had fun, and I had fun engaging with people about them as well. And, you know, massive thanks to everyone that supported those. But, you know, collections grow, and it's been 2 years since I did the last collection video. I find myself with a lot of free time at Christmas because that's when I bang all my holidays in at work. So yeah, Collection Tour 2.0 coming soon.
Ooh,
Excellent.
Sweet.
Can't wait for that. Dan, what about you? What's on the horizon? What's in the
Oh,
pipeline?
I got lots of things on the pipeline. I just need to get it piped in. I've got a video series that I'm working on. I'm not going to say what it is yet, but it's going to be pretty tasty. If you like,
I think you briefly mentioned it last time around.
If you like weird Star Wars shit, yeah, I've got some weird Star Wars shit. I forgot to show this in my haul actually.
Yes.
If you're into that sort of weird Star Wars shit, yeah. It's quite,
You'll
yeah.
love it.
we're going to be doing some weird Star Wars shit.
That's a blast from the past, that. Jesus. Does that mean one of us is going to have to get the Jar Jar one to sort of like complete the lineup?
Oh, and there's the C-3PO one as well.
Oh, that's going to be a mission then. That's a little
There we
eBay mission
go.
for the new year.
There we
We've all
go.
got to come onto these streams wearing one of those.
Bosh.
Good stuff. I'm excited for that. Brilliant stuff. Right, well, I'm going to let you guys get on with the rest of your evening, whatever you might be up to. Everyone who's tuned in, thank you as always. We will be back sooner than later, hopefully, with another one. Like I said, it's probably going to be another wishlist type stream. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Until next time, as always, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.
Bye.